What's up, guys? I'm Cody Brockway, and you are back here for another episode of Brockway's Vinyl Bites. That's right. And if you were here the other day, then you saw the video that I put up. It was also about the Grateful Dead. It was sort of like a part one in a sense. It was the beginner's guide to the Grateful Dead, 5 essential must-have albums. Well, we're back today to talk about the Grateful Dead once more, and this is a part two of sorts, if you will, because we are continuing on with that idea, and we are talking about 10 songs. These songs are a really nice dive into the catalog. There's some rarities, there's some obscurities, there's some well-known classics here, and there's a lot of live versions, because if you remember what we were talking about in the last video, is that the Grateful Dead were primarily a live band who learned to work in the studio, right? And they made some great studio output, absolutely, but there's going to be a nice marriage of the studio output and some really cool, unique live tracks in today's list. And look, if you didn't catch part one, we're sitting at the Grateful Dead wall here. Of course, there is Pink Floyd and Iron Maiden there, but yeah, look at all this Grateful Dead stuff up on top of here. We got little Jerry Garcia. Love Jerry Garcia. And Bob Weir and company, and the Grateful Dead. Very cool. This is a Funko Pop that the lovely Tara O'Reilly of Spin and Prog right here on YouTube made for me, my lovely fiance. Love her very much. And yeah, so we are talking about the 10 songs here, the beginner's guide to the Grateful Dead. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with a live track, and this is one of the few times that I would put a cover into a sort of top 10 songs list like this, but it's with good reason, because it is their cover of Morning Dew that they released on the Europe 72 live album. Yeah. This is seriously beautiful. They stretch it out to 10, 11 minutes or so, and just, wow. I mean, it's absolutely unreal. It's pure, unadulterated emotion. Beautiful guitar playing from Jerry Garcia. In fact, it might actually be his best recorded guitar solo in this. Of course, he's got so many, right? But really, like, I'm just getting chills even thinking about it. It's just awesome. Great stuff. Just beautiful. And then, of course, the emotion in the lyrics. Obviously, this is a cover, so this was written by, I can't remember who originally did the song, but it's beautiful, especially when done by the Dead on this album. Can't walk you out in the morning dew, my honey, because everyone has died in the war. Sad, but the way that they play it is just absolutely gorgeous. Now we're going over to Europe 72 Volume 2. There is a nice 11-minute version of Playing in the Band. Now you could argue that the version from Skull and Roses is the definitive version. You might even say that the version that's on Bob Weir's solo album, Ace, could be the definitive version, but you'd be wrong, because as great as those other versions are, this one really encapsulates the whole jamming vibe of the Grateful Dead, and it's not too long. Of course, it comes in at just over 11 minutes, and so it's kind of like a little package deal, like, okay, this is a great song that we've done, and we've really evolved it into this sort of jamming vehicle, but it doesn't overstay its welcome. And so, Playing in the Band from Europe 72 Volume 2, pretty hard CD to get now, but you can certainly pull this up on YouTube for sure. Great stuff. Then we're going to go ahead to 1990, where they did a show actually on March 29th, 1990. This was released as Wake Up to Find Out, of course, from Nassau Coliseum, Uniondale, New York. And they had jazz saxophonist Branford Marsalis join them for the majority of this show. And what we're looking at here, at number 8, is this version of Eyes of the World. Wow. What a breathtaking performance of that song. And Branford Marsalis' saxophone in this just absolutely elevates it to another level. The way that he gels with Jerry and the boys, and he had never heard the Grateful Dead before, stepping on stage with them. Take my money, man. This is absolutely unreal. Oh, it's so good. And of course, if you buy the CD, it goes into Estimated Prophet and Dark Star and stuff. But if you're just perusing and you're just sort of beginning looking into their catalog, this is a great performance to check out. Eyes of the World from March 29th, 1990. Wake up to find out that you are the eyes of the world. I'm not a good singer, folks. All right, so they went to Nassau Coliseum 10 years before this one, before this performance, and they put out this awesome album from May 15th and 16th, 1980, respectively. This was released in 2004. It is one of the definitive live albums of the Grateful Dead's catalog. And the song that we're going to talk about here is this version of Althea. Of course, the studio version is on the Go to Heaven album, but this is the definitive version of the song. Althea, just this sort of slow, almost sexy sort of groove, and I told Althea I was feeling lost, and Jerry Garcia's sort of chill, laid-back guitar vibes in this. Oh, absolutely unreal. It's a Deadhead's dream. Althea from the Grateful Dead Go to Nassau Coliseum, 1980. And we're going to do a studio track. The first studio track that we've mentioned here actually so far, of course, it is from my favorite Grateful Dead album. Of course, if you saw the 5 Essential Must-Have Grateful Dead albums video, you probably know that already. But we're talking about Sugar Magnolia. And there's lots of great live versions I could have picked, but there's something about the studio version of this song. It's just over 3 minutes, and it's a gorgeous tune. It just makes you think of your loved ones and how much you appreciate them. It's a really fun sort of driving in the sunlight song. This is a Tara song for me because she is my Sugar Magnolia, and I love her very much. She's my summer love in the spring, fall, and winter. She can make happy any man alive. But she makes me happy. I'm the man in her life. And so if you've never heard this song, this should have been a big hit for them. And of course, in their fan base, it is. They included this in a lot of live sets over the years. But yeah, Sugar Magnolia from the American Beauty record. We're going to do another live track. This is actually a live track that was in their set list for a long time, off and on. It never got a studio recording, and the definitive version is absolutely on Skull and Roses. Of course, there's a good one from Dick's Picks Volume 3, which is really great, but I have to go for this one because half of my life I've spent doing time for some other fucker's crime. This is Wharf Rat. I love the lyrics in this and how it tells the story of an addict who's trying to get back on his feet again, and it's a really great song. I love the vibe of the song, this sort of laid back sort of shuffle thing that they got going on. But the lyrics in this are absolutely unreal. The storytelling is very good, and it's just a great song. It's about 7.5 minutes or so, it's not too long or anything like that. Of course, if you're into the Grateful Dead, you're not really worried about songs being too long, are you? Wharf Rat from Skull and Roses. Excellent tune. And we're going to another studio track here. We're going to do Uncle John's Band from Working Man's Dead. And yeah, there's some really great live versions I could have picked of this too, but to me the studio version is probably the definitive one. I really like the vibe of it. It's really happy. It's really warm and inviting, and it's just really nice to listen to. And almost 5 minutes long. It's kind of like the vibe they were going for with these two albums is very much that sort of country rock, classic rock, American Crosby, Stills and Nash sort of vibe, and they're nailing it. They do it really well. It's just a great album and a great song. Uncle John's Band. Oh, what I want to know. How does this song go? Gorgeous tune. Acoustic guitars all throughout this, and the whole band just doing a little bit of percussion and some bass, and all of the members harmonizing. It's really lovely. Uncle John's Band. A great time. And now we're going to do another live track. We're going to go back to 1980. This is from the Warfield Theater in San Francisco, where they did a couple of shows there in September and October of that year. And this is actually a song that can be found on a Bob Weir solo album, but as the Grateful Dead were kind of known to do at the time, they would take solo songs from their solo albums and play them live with the Grateful Dead. And the song that we're talking about is Cassidy. This is my favorite version of the song. Fare thee well now. Let your life proceed by its own design. Nothing to tell now. Let the words be yours, I'm done with mine. Some of the greatest lyrics. Look at me pointing out some of the lyrics in these songs, eh? These guys had awesome lyrics in their music. And just some really great words to live by a lot of the time. And words that I've lived my own life by, you know? And Cassidy, just this sort of acoustic stripped down performance. There's not a whole lot of electric going on here. It's the band pulling out their acoustic guitars and brushes on the drums and things like that. And it just really works. And I love when they would take their songs and strip them back to acoustic bits like this. Excellent stuff. And Cassidy, yeah, from the Grateful Dead Reckoning live album. Absolutely brilliant tune. And this song is actually a pretty well-known big hit single for the band. This was their first sort of massive single, if you will, that would hit the Hot 100 in the States. Truckin' from the Grateful Dead, American Beauty. You gotta have this song, right? It's one of their most well-known songs. It's one of their most recognizable tunes, even to people who don't know the Grateful Dead. A lot of people know this song. Truckin', just awesome, groovy track. Jerry Garcia sort of wailing with the electric guitar, but there's no full-on guitar solo. It's just kind of him adding these sort of ad-libs in between vocals and in between chorus and verse passages and things like that. What a great guitar player. And of course the lead vocals sung by Bob Weir, and just an awesome track. Phil Lesh, Bill Kreutzmann, Ron Pigpen McKernan was still alive on this. He had passed away after the release of this about 2 years after. R.I.P. Pigpen. But yeah, just the Grateful Dead sort of honing in on that classic rock, that country rock vibe. Truckin', what an essential tune. And then the one for all the prog lovers out there, probably the most ultimate, the penultimate Grateful Dead track ever, is the title track to Terrapin Station. I mean, I've shown prog heads this song who are not Grateful Dead fans, and they hear that and go, oh, that's brilliant, that's unreal. I mean, Tara, who's not a big Grateful Dead fan, heard this and went, oh, that was class, as she would say. It's a 16-minute epic that takes up all of side 2 on the studio album Terrapin Station from 1976. It's just awesome, and the way that the parts sort of weave into each other, and there's this sort of storyline within the lyrics with the lady with the fan, right, who comes and takes the sailor away. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And they never played the full bit live, but they played the first 10 minutes of it live. But something in that last 6 minutes there where it goes into that sort of 7 groove with the percussive drums. Of course, you got Mickey Hart back in the band here, so you got 2 drummers, Bill Kreutzmann and Mickey Hart, going absolutely crazy on this track. Terrapin Station and the sort of hypnotic riffs that go throughout this tune. It's unreal, and if you're into progressive rock at all, this song is your baby. So we've got Mornin' Dew from Europe 72, the original one. We've got Playing in the Band from Europe 72, Volume 2. We've got Eyes of the World from March 29th, 1990. We've got Althea from the Grateful Dead Go to Nassau, 1980. We've got Sugar Magnolia, the studio version from American Beauty. We've got Wharf Rat from Skull and Roses. We've got Uncle John's Band, the studio version from the Working Man's Dead album. We've got Cassidy, live from the Grateful Dead Reckoning album. We've got Truckin' from the American Beauty album. And we've got Terrapin Station from Terrapin Station. So this has been the full beginner's guide to the Grateful Dead. Check out these songs if you haven't heard them already. Of course, if you're already a Grateful Dead fan, add some of your own ideas and songs and what you think might be great beginners sort of guides to the Grateful Dead's song catalog in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This has been another episode of Brockway's Vinyl Bites. I am Cody Brockway, and yeah, thanks for watching. Rock on!